This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. I'm with Alan Cochrane, and Holly Walsh is with us this morning.
For you, that.
I love it.
Yeah, so you can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio, email the show via the Absolute Radio website. Come on, guys, why don't you call? Oh, sorry, that's from something else. So, hello, good morning, Holly.
Good morning.
Al, as ever, obviously, but
God, it's nice to be
see you.
back.
Yes, it's been a while.
I thought I'd been excommunicated from the show, but somehow you've seemed to have allowed me back.
No, well, there's another woman who sits in.
I know, but she might have not been here once in the last 4 years.
Well, I'll tell you what I thought. I thought Holly Walsh, she's writing Motherland, she's writing something else I don't know the name of.
Yeah.
Which she's been quite about. What's it called? Game of
Thrones.
No, not really.
Life.
But she's. So I just thought you'd be too busy. That's what I thought.
That's a compliment.
Game of Life is a good title for something, isn't it? You can make it like anything.
Isn't there a board game?
There's a Game of Life board game.
All right.
Don't say that on air. You make a fool of yourself. So yes, it's lovely to have you now. I've got something arrived this morning, which is something that we talked about previously on the show. Would you believe? And I've been sent this, as far as I can tell, I've been sent it as a gift. Well, I have been sent it as a gift, and it's something that we referred to recently with a theatrical connection. I don't expect you to get this, Holly, because you don't do the show, but I'll give you a clue. It's the suit that John Sim wore as Hamlet on stage.
You haven't been sent that.
I've been sent that.
You
No.
haven't.
I have. He says he sent it to me because I am a fellow of infinite jest, the guy says.
Wow.
Hey, I get it. Oh, I get it. Yes. And he does some pretty good jokes in this card. Can I just run one of them by you?
Yeah.
He said...
I'll get my pencil out. I might be having that.
No, I tell you, there's some. I mean, I might feed these throughout the show. We never know when we might be glad of a spine, a comedy spine. It says, I'm not a stand-up comic, so I don't see any need to have more than one suit. I mean, I can recognise that. He says it's theatre scarred. But what he says John Sim might have put some weight on since he played Hamlet. I'm not sure. Tobby or not Tobby.
That's a good joke.
That's a good joke.
That's a good joke.
Yeah. I mean, I love it. And there's other. I'll save some of the other jokes. But that is from W.H. Clark, author. It says his .com. He's got a .com.
So they
thing.
sent you a suit that was worn by John Sim.
The story was that this guy was buying. He went to. Was it the RSC? He went to. I turned to
I thought
Faye.
it was the Sheffield Crucible or something.
Oh well,
like
that makes absolute sense. Yeah. And I think
he
bought a waistcoat with a "You Bet" patch on it as well. UK choral champion John Parrott. And so he was looking at these, and they had some really expensive stage things. And John Sim's Hamlet suit was on one of the cheaper rails, so he bought it.
So it wasn't like on the last performance, John Sim took off his suit and threw it into the audience like footballers at the end of a game.
That would have been great. And then walked around with his kids just round the stage.
And his wife.
Yeah. No, I tell you what, I saw Little Richard once live in London. And he, not only did he take his stage outfit, he basically tore it from his own. I mean, he ripped it off. It was like a sort of a very flimsy trouser suit thing he was wearing with tiny mirrors on it. And he ripped it off and threw it into the... So he's just like in his little pants, Little Richard. Can I say? I don't know what they abbreviate Little Richard to, but it would have been apt.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So yes, so I have received John Sim's Hamlet suit from the Crucible Theatre.
It's very exciting.
It is
Just
exciting.
a parcel arrives.
The Master. I mean, I'm not going to beat around the bush. It's the Master.
When I was a kid, my neighbours owned a theatre company. We lived on a farm, so they had this huge storage barn.
So much information. You've got a farm. Your neighbours owned a theatre.
They had this huge barn, basically, which they kept all their props and stuff in, and they had done they'd bought in an auction all the costumes from Flash Gordon, the film.
Wow.
And we were allowed to play with them when we were kids, like go into the barn and just like try stuff on, and all the helmets and all the costumes and everything like that.
Cool.
And so I've got all these photos of me as a kid in like all
That's
the outfits
brilliant.
from Flash Gordon.
Did you at any point say, Flash, I love you, but we only have 13 hours to save the universe? Wow. Suzanne Danielle was in that. It was like one of my celebrity crushes.
Oh,
remember.
yeah.
She was. She never really got past. That was her greatest achievement, I would say, in showbiz,
really?
was being my celebrity crush. She was only a bit part in...
What was she? What did she play?
She played a sort of a slave girl, a beautiful slave girl. You would have seen her outfit.
That's
but
your
it was-
type, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I. That's what I. Yeah, I like. Yeah, I like some hint of oppression. and you was what else? As the music played. Holly just fired out information like we were like the internet had exploded, and you discovered some celebrity.
Yeah, I am obsessed with eBay. Obsessed. I mean, I spend most of my life on there, and that's
Do you?
awful considering I have children, and I should talk to them.
What's your best purchase ever?
I'm dabbling in upholstery at the moment.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so
I didn't want
What
to
you're
spring that
buying.
on you.
Very serious about my chairs.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bought a really nice Art Deco duo upper the other day. But anyway, it's a bit early for that.
Yeah.
But I was looking and I found John Inman's estate is being sold on eBay, and it's amazing. There's so many weird things, but one of them was.
Can I just say I think we've got 3 younger listeners. John Inman was in a popular 70s sitcom called Are You Being Served, when he played, I think I can use the word camp shop assistant, whose
so.
catchphrase was I'm free, which is not the catchphrase you want bandied about on eBay,
Right.
obviously.
No, because there were some very clear starting bids that they wouldn't go under. But there was this beautiful, obviously at the end of pantomime season, the theatre or someone must have made it for him as a present, a Mother Goose sort of cross-stitched version of the poster with the dates that he'd performed. And I mean, I had to really stop myself from buying that, because that would be just an amazing.
Just a
How
thing
much
to
was that
have
on? About $8,000.
No, it's on like $250, which is a lot of money for a John Inman. I mean, I wasn't in the I wasn't in town for a John Inman cross-stitch poster, but I really loved it.
I think if one measures it against the other John Inman cross-stitched
Yes.
pantomime posters I've seen on eBay, it's about average.
Yeah, that's what they go for.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the most impressive thing on Holly's wall, can I say that? Can I mention what the other thing on your wall that blew my mind?
What?
The bus stop thing.
Oh man, yeah, that's amazing.
Why don't you tell us? It's your
For my
thing.
husband's birthday, I got him a live bus stop update. Like when you sit at a bus stop
Oh,
and
like
there's...
the LED things?
Yeah, and so we have it for the bus stop outside our house,
That's
so we can
cool.
always get on and off the
So
bus.
I don't know if this is national, but certainly in London, if you're at a bus stop, there is a little screen that tells you what time the 168 is due.
I do find in the provinces that does not exist as
No,
often.
well, I recognise that, but Holly's actually got. And, I mean, it's not. It's a real one, so it's telling
Yeah,
when
that's
the bus
amazing.
is.
Yeah, it's live. It's
man.
live.
I
People
meant-
get lost in it.
It is. It is, and it had also it went for the long game in the way that they don't in the bus stops. One of them said like 44 minutes.
Yeah, but then it
somehow.
suddenly jumps to 16. It's mad. But people,
Oh,
honestly,
that's-
you're having lunch with people, and then that you realise they haven't listened to you for about the last 4 minutes because they've just been staring at the
It's really a tremendous.
171.
That's great.
Oh,
it's
man.
it's brilliant.
I can't tell you. I still think about it.
I want one. I think everyone does that's hearing this.
Just the idea that you think, I don't need to leave the house yet because it's been here in 3 minutes. It's like as if they'd had timetables of some kind?
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So I did the Royal Variety performance on Monday.
Did you?
I know it's not the big royal story of the week.
I was going to say, I haven't
meant
heard
a
much
lot.
about them for a while. How are they doing?
Well, it wasn't the Queen. It was William and Kate
Was it?
were present, but it was quite a lark, I must say. Rod Stewart, who was due to be on before me, they said you're on after Rod and Robbie,
Did they?
and then he cancelled that day.
Did he really?
That's gutsy, isn't it?
Apparently, Rod Stewart woke up that morning and he hadn't got a sore throat, so couldn't perform. Terrible.
Who filled in for him? Who do
Well-
you call in when Rod Stewart drops out?
Well, basically, Robbie just did a song on his own, a Christmas
Went
song.
solo.
Yeah.
Right.
And then later he duetted with Jamie Cullum. Jamie Cullum, a bloke who I only ever meet at royal events. The last
Is that
time
right?
He said, last time I saw you was the Queen's 92nd. I said, yeah, I'll see you at the trial. So it's an interesting night. Have you ever seen?
I've not been to it or
How do you go to
or
it?
seen it
Like,
much.
what is it? Ballot? How do people get tickets? You can't just buy them,
The
can you?
I think you can. The tickets range from 70 to 350 quid,
right.
which
And,
is that's more than Eddie Izzard's charging.
Yeah.
That's quite
Which
a
is the
lot.
new benchmark, is it?
It is for me. It is. It's one I look up to from well below. Can I say?
What
But
does
yeah.
350 get you?
That
feel
gets
like
you
gets
front.
to sit in the royal box.
You get front stalls. You can't buy a ticket for the Royal Box, for
Right.
goodness sake.
No, it'd be a security.
There are
nightmare,
other
but-
people in the Royal Box,
Are there?
but they must be official people.
Well, that's the variety in the royal variety.
yeah.
Yes.
It's
They've got the royals, and then they have a variety of other people. They've got a prisoner. They've got
Yeah.
a working mother who's falling asleep because she's really tired and out for an evening. They've got
Yeah.
a guy from Wetherspoons.
There's a dog walker.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a competition. What about if they had a competition and you could be in the Royal Box with William and Kate, and they could,
You have to sit between them.
I don't know if that, but on the floor.
Yeah.
They had to tell you throughout.
Yeah.
What, a bit like Gillette Soccer Saturday. They just told you what was going on, but you couldn't actually see it yourself. I'd love that. But you get to share. You have to, unless you're Robbie Williams, you have to share a dressing room when
He
you
got
do
his
the Royal
own?
Variety. Oh yeah, he got his own.
Yeah,
Bit
well,
of a
he was
lonely
filling
night for
in.
him. His duet partner dropped out, and then he's all on his own.
No, he's got an entourage.
Oh, has he?
Also,
Yeah.
didn't he live on his own in the desert for quite a while?
Robbie Williams.
Yeah. Oh, that might be Jesus.
No, yeah.
He did, didn't he? He was obsessed with the UFOs and stuff.
Robbie?
Yeah.
No.
He was in America on his own.
No, I think that's one of those Wikipedia entries that need citation.
I'm pretty sure he spent some time sort of reclusive living. Exclusive reclusive.
Okay, well, I didn't. Well, someone will know that.
Yeah.
One of his neighbours, maybe, who lived 125 miles away. Yeah. Well, so I shared with a theatre group who were doing a play called Grown Ups, Groan. They're the people who did the play What Went Wrong
Oh, right.
and all that. And also a very nice chap called Alexei. Alexei, who was a Russian contortionist.
Right.
And he's with Cirque du Soleil.
He'd be quite good in a crowded changing room.
He was perfect. I mean, he
Yeah.
was.
Budge up a bit.
He was in the bin for most of the day.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I've put a picture of me and Alexei, the contortionist, on Instagram. It's as selfies go, it's fairly unusual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People really don't, you know, you don't see people at school who are really good at sort of doing bridges and bends and stuff like that and say, I think you've got a career in, I was going to say extortion.
If you grow up in Kent. I think there's a lot of people in the audience at the Royal Variety who are who've retired to Kent having lived a life of crime.
Do you think?
With their ask no questions wives. So that's what the audience looks like.
They're all in the £360 seats at the front.
350, don't exaggerate.
They threw a tenner in because they can.
The 360 seats, they spin all the way around. No, it was the last time I did it. I died terribly. And,
did you?
Yeah, as did Ronnie Corbett and Larry Grayson. We all. Obviously
that shows
they
it was
have
a
since
tough crowd. Doesn't
actually
it?
died. But I mean, on the night. I don't mean that. I mean on the night. Yeah, it was.
Really?
And
You went back then? Why did you go back?
Well, I've said no for years, and then this year I went back because I don't really have any other work.
And also, you've now got your eyes on the prize, i.e. knighthood.
Well,
maybe.
We're moving towards that now. I'm thinking the House of Lords.
Yeah.
Yes.
They have a nice time of it. I'm also into upholstery. And that looks pretty good to me. No, so I just thought, you know what it's like? You think, I know a dog always returns to his own vomit, as I think Samuel Johnson
Is that
said.
the phrase?
Was that your opening line when you came back on?
Yeah.
I've done this once before, but as they say.
No, that would have lost them early. But it was actually it was quite. I feel like it was like an unbuttoned pocket on a multi-pocketed winter coat.
Yeah.
I felt I wanted to go back and press that button.
Right.
So I did that. And
Well, that's good. You've got resolution.
You need closure.
I'll tell you what they have in the shared dressing room, so you have a bit of privacy. They have proper old-fashioned surgical screens like you used to see in those old hospital movies. You know, those things
nice.
with like pleated grey
that
material.
they wheel back to reveal the
They got
terrible...
that. I don't know how long they've been in the Palladium, but they look like they're from the 50s.
Right.
And like the contortionist, it goes under that. You can just see his head and his foot sticking above.
He could probably get around that. He could have his feet on the floor and still be looking under or over it, surely.
I
the
was talking to Alexi in a corridor, and I'll tell you what he did. He leaned on the wall, and it was a bit awkward where he was leaning, so he put his leg right the way up back above his head, so he could lean on that like a little,
Nice.
like a little pillow.
It must be very useful to be that.
I said to him, if I could do it, I'd be doing it all the time
Yeah.
on buses and stuff like that.
What specifically are you talking about?
Contortioning.
Just generally, when I went into a public toilet cubicle, I wouldn't open the door. I'd just go underneath
Right.
like a snake.
Like limbo.
He'd be amazing. He could turn professional.
Limbo?
Yeah, totally.
Turn professional like he's currently an amateur limbo
No,
guy.
he's making money, I'm sure.
The
with
Premier
that.
League
Sure
of
he is.
limbo.
Yeah, exactly. And we all know what his stage name would be, of course, in the limbo world. Gary Barlow.
I don't get it.
Gary Barlow.
Barlow.
I can't wait all that. I'm sorry, we've got other things.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
So, yes, meanwhile, at the Royal Variety performance,
Of course.
I'd see some of what they packed the dressing rooms with confectionery.
Oh, did they?
I mean, like there was big bowls of Haribos and
Does that mean they get a royal stamp because they were approved by the royals?
I was just thinking they could fill it up with Prince Charles's biscuits, couldn't
Yeah,
they?
you should
Why
have
not?
got-
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think he'll give them free.
Oh, really?
No, it's a bit strict on it. but,
Duchy.
Yeah, the
Duchy
duchy.
originals.
yes, I think that their the slogan is "Pass the Duchy" on the left-hand side, and it's got somebody passing him, obviously to their left.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I did a thing I haven't done for years. They had
Filled your
some
pockets.
They had some big chocolate bars, like proper big, them ones that you get offered for £1 at the
Yeah.
airport.
If you buy a certain newspaper.
Yeah, so really big, and I I just picked one up really bit.
A slab.
You know when you bite into chocolate in such a manner that you ignore the cubings, you just bite straight through as if it. And I actually did that. That noise. And I don't know what happened to me. I think it's because it was a royal event. I just went through the ceiling on it.
Did you?
Absolute.
Get all giddy.
Absolute insanity.
Do you remember that game you used to play as kids? I don't know if you did this, where you'd roll a dice, and if you got a 6, and you'd put the gloves on and the hat on and then a scarf, and then you had to try and eat the slab of chocolate with a knife and fork.
Yes.
That was the best. Why don't they do that at more adult parties?
Well, I think we stopped playing it when rationing was introduced.
And you were already in the hat and scarf because obviously there was no warmth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you try and eat powdered egg with a knife and fork.
It's difficult, isn't it?
Nightmarish. Anyway, so at the end, we all go out for the you all line up together. So there's me and Lewis Capaldi and Mabel lined up.
Who's Mabel?
I don't know Mabel.
Mabel is a singer.
All right.
She's
Just not just an old lady who.
no. She's a young lady. She performed in like a circular thing, which she danced in like an enormous, like a big O, which I thought that's an ankle snapper there, because she's dancing on the slope part of the time. I spoke to her about this. Apparently, she had to be careful.
All right.
Anyway. No, they were all nice. They were very nice, the young people.
That's good.
Yeah, they helped me to the. No, they didn't. It was fine. And then you line up, and they say, right now, Prince William and the Duchess will be coming now. And I was first in the lineup.
Were you?
Yeah.
I thought, this is a guy who can handle some royals. He'll set the tone.
I think they thought the lineup is so long, we better put the old people at the front. So I was the first one. So Prince William comes out first, taller than I thought. I'll be straight with you. So he
taller than you'd ever imagined.
Yeah, exactly. So he came up to me and said, all right, Frank.
He said, all right, Frank.
I mean, they're told who you are. I think he knew because he started talking about football. So I said, you're supposed to let them lead, but I said, this is the first time I've ever shook hands with a Villa fan, which he seemed to take all right. And he said, I listen to your song every morning. And I thought, what? He said, George plays your football song every morning. And I was every part of me wanted to say, who? But I thought, no, he's assuming, and obviously I do know.
Uh-huh.
So yeah.
Did you say, because we all wake up and stand to attention to the national anthem?
Well, I do most mornings.
Yes.
No, I didn't, because it's not really his song yet, is it? I think he. No, I said Boz loves I Just Can't Wait to Be King. Which I imagine is your thing. What about if we all stood up for him and they played I Just Can't Wait to Be King? That'd be fun. So then Kate comes over. He was with me a bit too long. I think he did that thing. He did the bake-off mistake. Don't eat too much of the first cake, because by the time you get to the 19th slice, you feel a bit sick. Mm-hmm. So he was with me quite a bit, talking about football and comedy, and then he moved on. And then Kate came. Lovely frock, I must say.
All right.
I didn't say that to her, and she said to me. So is it difficult going on early in the show? And I thought, meaning? Yeah, what do you mean difficult? Did it look like it was? No, I didn't
like
say.
when you come off stage and the first thing someone goes, tough crowd. That
yeah, it was a bit. It was a bit like.
Bad.
It was a bit like that. Yeah, and I said, well, no, it was. I said I find it's good to get on this. At this gig early, because they start to dip a bit after 4 or 5 hours. And I got the laugh, and I thought, that's it, I've got the laugh, you can go now.
So then you just turn the music up.
Yeah, exactly. And then off she went to Lewis Capaldi. But so that was it. So I also had to thank Prince William for doing that It's Coming Home before the semi-final. Do you see he did a piece to camera and he said it's coming home. Oh, man. So anyway, we mainly talk football. So that was my Royal Variety experience.
How exciting.
When's it on telly, or has it been on telly?
Well, I'm hoping it's on before Christmas, as Jamie Cullum and Robbie Williams sang "Merry Christmas, Everybody" in a swing version.
Oh, nice.
So who-
What will your granny do? What was it? Was it what will your daddy do when he says your mommy kissing Santa Claus? Whoa ho! It was like that. Sinatra does Slade. Anything's possible at the RVP.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Alan Cochrane. And Holly Walsh is with us this morning. You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio, email the show via the Absolute Radio website. Have we actually had any contact from the
We
outside?
have, yeah. There's a couple. In fact, I think you've inadvertently started a text in. 033. Good morning, Mr. Frank. Hello, Holly. How do Cockerell? Anyway, funny you should play Step On, Frank. You played Dr. Feelgood earlier, as you used to request it in nightclubs. I used to request Step On in clubs back when I was a student in Liverpool in the early 90s. Banging track, and that's Nugget.
Okay, you see, I don't know if people actually request tracks in clubs anymore, do they? Would people
That's a
go
great
up to,
Oh, yes,
question.
you
would
do.
people go up to the
Getting
DJ
vigorous
now?
nods.
Yeah.
What, and they'd say stuff like,
Can you play Back in the Night by Dr. Feelgood, which is what I always say.
stuff exactly like that.
I reckon
yeah.
that young people also
They
have
probably
the
ask
power.
for Beyonce these days,
Yeah, but
don't
they're
they?
used to having the power of controlling everything they listen to. So my
Oh,
kids,
yeah.
like when they watch television, they say,
You seem a long way from the microphone. I was trying to do that with a gesture, but it just looked at me like I was having a turn.
I thought you were saying, get on with it.
No, I wasn't. I'd never say that to you.
Yeah, right.
HW, homework.
Yeah.
Hot water.
You said it. No, sorry, continue,
No, but
please.
just, you try and explain to children, like we go to see my parents, they don't have fancy TV, they don't have Netflix and stuff.
What, on the farm?
On the farm, yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't understand that you can't just watch that television show that you want to watch, that you have to just see whatever's on the box.
It's mind-blowing when children don't understand. We stayed in a bed and breakfast once. My kids couldn't get to grips with the idea that they couldn't pause the telly.
No, it's
What a world.
it's a. Do they have two red setters sleeping by a log fire? Your
My
parents?
children.
No, your parents. At the farm. I always find there's dogs by a fire at a farm.
Are there?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
we do have a dog. Yeah, it stinks.
Oh yeah, that
It's one of those
happens.
stinky dogs.
Yeah, that's on a farm. That's fine, though, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's not
Okay.
fine.
There's a point. My sister had a dog, which actually was like an acid attack when you went into their house. I honestly used to bring tears. I could feel it in the back of my throat, the smell of it. It wasn't just in the nose. It would fill the whole head like Vic Vapor Rub.
The smell of the
In fact,
dog.
that was the name of the dog, Vic Vapor Rub. No, it wasn't. The smell of the dog is unbelievable. Anyway, look, I've had a lovely letter from James Rose. Is that a James Cracknell pseudonym? Because James Rose, obviously.
I don't
James
know.
Cracknell, you know who that is?
Yeah.
James Rose. It's something that could be
Oh, he
said.
rose.
Yes, okay.
Oh, got it.
No, so James Rose, R-O-S-E, he's from the Council for British Archaeology.
Oh, careers in ruins.
And he said, yeah, brilliant. Oh, I love it.
All jokes.
That's great. That was shovel ready. And he said, I've listened with an interest to your enthusiasm for all things Anglo-Saxon over the last few weeks.
Mhm.
I had a quiet week this week. I just did the Anglo-Saxon Horde in Birmingham.
Quiet week.
Yeah. But yeah, we were. I tell you what, I was at Barbara Castle up in Northumberland, and there was an archaeological dig ongoing, and just looking at it gave me a bit of a tingle, I must say.
Really?
I had to get a trowel. Can you write that down, Sarah? Get trowel on my to-do.
I did archaeology A level.
Well, you should be a member of the Council for British Archaeology.
Yes.
And I speak to you as member number 293140, which I now am.
No way.
Yes. And he said you can have a possible text in for the show. What are your top hoards? Well, that's all right as long as the reception is perfectly clear. Well, I've seen a few hoards. I've seen the Staffordshire. I saw the Galloway hoard recently, which is mainly Viking silver.
Oh, I'm worried about this on car radios.
No, I'd say it's going to be fine. If the Galloway hoard is listening. No, it's... So that's fantastic. I have already put the membership card in my wallet. And that's it.
You'll use it to get into exclusive clubs,
Yeah,
nightclubs.
exactly. Can you dig it? It'll be
Bougie.
called and stuff like that. Yeah.
But what's that posh place that all the royals go to? Bijou.
I don't know that one. Tramps I used to go to.
Tramp.
Don't remember that. Don't even know where the bar is. What are you talking about?
No, no, obviously not. But it's pretty low, I'll tell you that much.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Holly, you haven't been on the show for ages. What's happening in your crazy life?
I'm living mainly in a hotel now.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh.
You always seem so happy with your partner.
I know, but I know. I'm filming in Manchester, so I'm living in a hotel, and it's really weird.
What are you filming? That's
A
what everyone
sitcom.
is.
A
Okay.
sitcom.
Is that all you're prepared to say about it?
No, it's called The Other One,
Okay.
and it's based. Well, we're filming it in Manchester, but it's really weird because I've.
Are you in it?
No, I'm direct. Well, I wrote it.
God, you can't go. I direct.
Nice.
But
But you're not in it.
No,
Oh.
I can't act.
Oh,
No, nothing. No
there's a lot
skill.
of people that still do anyway.
Yeah, 'cause if you've written it, I played
Yeah.
Johnny Cash. I mean, who would have cast that?
Good point.
You cast
Yeah, I
that.
cast it. Exactly. Well, that's my point. Once you've written it, you can be in it if you like. I didn't come into this business to be behind camera.
Maybe
So do
Holly
you
did.
direct? You were about to say you directed.
I directed a bit of it. Yeah, it's been really fun.
I mean, God, it's you know,
Cool.
you're all over it like a rash.
That's exactly what I like to be. A rash on my own projects. But the weird thing about living in a hotel, I've like basically become Alan Partridge. I know all the staff. I know the kind of day routine, everything.
How
like
long
that.
have you been there?
I've been in this place for 2 weeks, but the previous place I was in for 7 weeks.
That's a long time in a hotel, isn't it?
Yeah, but the other day I was in the sort of foyer bit, and there were loads of millionaire shortbreads
Oh, nice.
and things laid out. So I ate some, and it turns out they were there for a corporate event. But I thought they were just sort of there for the general,
Yeah.
Yeah.
people.
Passers by.
So I was eating them, and then they took them into the main room where all the businessmen were waiting for them. But it's just it
They
was
had your DNA on
quite because I didn't just take one bite from each of them.
them. Okay.
Lick it and put it back on the
That's
pile.
better.
I wasn't like, I'm going to eat a bite of this entire platter.
When
of
you
mayonnaise.
ate them, did you go?
I think millionaire shortbread cakes should rename themselves in the current financial climate. I think.
Well, I
it's a
don't.
bit.
You
I don't see the problem with it.
Yeah. Isn't there one that's called Billionaires? Isn't there a
the
shop
There
same
is.
that does?
thing.
There
like
is.
a-
Yeah, I don't know.
Is that American billionaires or English billionaires?
Oh, that's a good point.
Oh,
It's a numbers game.
oh,
But
yeah.
it's that thing of eating something that's not yours to eat. It's this is quite an
Well,
excruciating experience.
I once had a burger and chips in the wings at a gig, and I put it down and had finished. Actually, it can't have been me. It must have been somebody else's food, because I always finish everything. But there was some food on a plate, and I saw a bloke walk past, look at it, look around, and just help himself to a chip off a plate in a pub. And we talked about it, and you've said that you do it in hotel lobbies, don't you?
Well, no, in corridors. Yeah, because some
Yeah.
people, if they put the tray outside the door,
And you'll just have a...
and if there's chip, I wouldn't eat something with a mouthpiece. Well, if
It's like a trumpet or a trombone.
I wouldn't eat directly from the mouth where the mouth
Right.
is bitten, but I would go maybe.
So if there was a passed out man in in the corridor, and he had some chips in his mouth. He wouldn't eat those.
No, I wouldn't. That would be too much.
But in the bowl adjacent to him, they're up for grabs. Yeah.
No, I think, and also often you get in a hotel corridor, you'll get a random chair. It'll just be somewhere.
And you'd eat that?
No, but I'd sit in that while I ate food from the floor. Basically.
Someone comes out of their room to pick up the room service that they've asked to be left outside the door, and they find Frank Skinner eating their dinner
In a chair.
When you say do you mean wheelchair or just chair?
No, they just have chairs that randomly, as if people are walking along a hotel corridor and think, oh, dearie me, I'm going to have a sit down. Luckily, someone's put a chair here. Often by lifts, so you can sit down when you're waiting for the lift. But yeah, I think waste not, want not. You know, people in the third world, etc. So, I go in.
I was a house. We should move on, shouldn't we?
We'll come back to it.
What? That sounded like you started. You're a house. Yeah. You're very hard on yourself. Okay, you're a bit bigger than you are now.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
We've had a few text messages in that I'd like to bring to your attention. 646 has messaged, "Hi Frank, I'm working as a volunteer at a dig in Cambridgeshire where we're excavating an Anglo-Saxon hall and associated buildings. We're always on the lookout for more volunteers if you have spare time." That's from Tony.
I always wonder.
Sounds like he's Tony one there.
Oh, you're right. When they have volunteers, isn't that an enormous risk?
In case they're just rubbish.
I was a volunteer on Time Team.
But you have to top all my stories.
Yeah.
Go on.
Done the Royal Variety performance.
I was a digger. I dug. I had a trowel and whatnot when I was a teenager on a medieval tannery in Plymouth, near Plymouth.
And do they leave you more or less to just go for it?
No. They regulate you very, very carefully.
Do they say...
But there is also...
A lot of admin.
I was sort of put on the corner where they knew nothing was. You know, because I was a body. I was just digging away with a brush and my little brush.
Did you get a thorn?
What's a thorn?
What's a thorn?
A thorn is what...
I know what a thorn is.
Yeah, well, then you know the answer.
Oh, really? Is it
on
that?
things like, if they get a very finely detailed thing with Cylon, they'll use a thorn to clear those bits out, because a thorn is not too hard. It has a sort of natural softness, so you won't do any damage to the artifact.
Wow.
Surely if you nibbled your nail and then you bent it up, that would do the same thing. Like this.
Yeah, but a lot of people aren't prepared to do that.
What, nibble their own nail?
Well, a lot of archaeologists don't really have nails. They're so worried about the digs going and stuff.
I disagree. I think a lot of archaeologists have long hair and fairly long nails.
Sort of dirty nails, you think?
Yeah. Like guitarists with long thumbnails.
Oh yeah.
Quite
If we was to get all the archaeologists in Britain and just clean their nails, then we'd probably find out a whole load of information about the Anglo-Saxons we didn't
You'd
previously
probably
have.
find pewter jugs,
Yeah,
a
exactly.
couple of gold coins,
Exactly.
a hairpin.
There'd be filigree. There's always filigree.
On a similar note, 700 has texted, "Surely with Frank's love of history, there's a BBC 4 series in it, Frank Skinner's National Treasures."
Oh,
it's a great title.
That is a good idea, isn't it?
It is actually a good idea.
That is your agent just texting that in.
Yeah, but
Well,
maybe
right.
if you'd have suggested that 10 years ago.
We'll play a long song and
It'd
write
be
it
really
up
funny.
into a treatment, yeah?
It'd be really funny if you excavated national treasures, like as in you dug down and Stephen Fry got out.
Kenny Everett's in there.
Yeah.
No, not late. I mean, like
Oh, I
actually
see.
living.
It doesn't literally mean. Yeah, you've made it. You've made it macabre.
Of course I have.
That's what you've done.
Accidentally.
It was light-hearted, and now it's macabre.
Frank Skinner.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Oh, I got a letter from Paul. I did Glasgow this week, I did it. I did stand up there, and it was very lovely. And Paul is a Glasgow Celtic supporter, who have always been my sort of second team, because I think it's all right to have a second team in a different country. So he sent me a book about Celtic, which looks really good, and also he sent a Celtic shirt for Buzz, with Buzz on the back, which is pretty brilliant.
Very kind.
Good Catholic family.
Yeah, I was going to
Can you say that? Yeah, yeah. So, yes, thank you very much for that, Paul. And we'll now all sing the Hail, Hail. No, we better not.
Not sure I will.
No, probably not. Da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, but when you know the history, it is enough to make your heart go, whoa, which always sounds like it might be a bit unpleasant. Because when my heart goes, whoa, that's generally trouble. Ahoy. Anyway, what else?
I once saw a man in a queue at Costa or one of those chains. There was one of those bowls of coffee beans, like proper coffee beans in a cup, where it's supposed to put tips in it. You're supposed to. They were said like tips on the side, but they'd obviously recently emptied it, so there's just the coffee beans in it. And he took a massive handful of them and put them in his mouth and knocked in front of the whole queue. Everybody watched him. And he went through with it. He kept chewing and he swallowed it.
Good man. He must have had like black teeth and stuff.
He styled it out.
They're hard. Chewing gravel. He didn't back down. Just went for it.
Absolute result.
But everyone knew that he wasn't liking it. So what did he gain by that?
Nothing. He's just his self-respect, I suppose, in it for himself.
He's gained something now after the event, because I think he's a legend. But
he probably hasn't slept for the last 11 years.
No, exactly. Yeah, he's really has achieved. He's started his own business. He's got 7 kids. Well, going back to your hotel life, which is fairly unusual.
Yeah.
See, I lived in a hotel for 6 weeks once doing filming. And a hotel that you start thinking is brilliant, you start finding all the things that aren't brilliant if you're there that long. And God, the room service menu gets a bit. But anyway, I checked into the Malmaison in Glasgow this week. You know the Malmaison?
Yeah.
And very nice hotel, and others are available, I admit. But do they have a picture of Napoleon over reception? I don't think so. And often you get a card. Now, at your hotel, did you get a card when you moved in, sort of from the management saying welcome?
No, but I think that's because you're really famous.
Oh, maybe.
I don't think normal people get cards from the managers welcoming them.
But you do sometimes.
I think people get
some hotels, yeah.
No,
I think people do.
True.
Oh.
I don't think that's true.
I think
Did the manager come down and shake your hand and ask for a selfie? Because he does that with every one of the guests.
No, I don't get that. But I thought you often get a card that says...
I've had it happen.
I don't know, my problem is I can't remember being not famous.
That's what they call a good problem to have, though, isn't it?
Do you check in under a pseudonym?
I do. I can't really tell you what it is, but I don't think it's worth it nowadays. But my tour manager was very keen. I went for the pseudonym.
Cool.
Sue Denim.
Yeah, Sue
that's
Denim.
the name.
That's the woman who invented denim. Yeah. So I check in as Lewis Capaldi, so people don't come trying to get into the room. But anyway, I got a card. I'll tell you in a minute why it was a bit special.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
So I checked into... I'm really shocked that not everyone gets a card when they check into a hotel.
I think it depends on the calibre of the establishment.
Okay.
I mean, my travel lodge had no card last night, I'll tell you right now.
Right.
None.
Well, okay. So I hope John Sim gets a card when he checks in. SIM card. Okay. So I've got welcome to Malmaison. This is what it says on the card. Welcome to Malmaison Glasgow, Frank. Frank's in different colour. So they've gone 2 colours on the pens.
Nice.
They've gone high vis on the Frank.
I think it's like when you copy and paste an email and then you put it back in
maybe.
and it slightly changes the font and really gives away that wasn't written.
Well,
to you.
wait till I show you. You'll be laughing on the other side of your face. As
Go for
I
it.
once said to Jeff Boycott. If you need anything, please feel free to call reception by dialing 0. Have a lovely stay. The Mal team. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then they've done a drawing of me on the car.
They
Yeah,
haven't.
definitely
They
don't get that. Normal
That would be
people don't
hard to
get that.
draw all the guests. You'd have to go rooting around on Google Images. And
Yeah.
people might think it was an invasion
Unless
of privacy.
you,
think they would,
you
yeah.
hide one of those court drawers, who have to quickly knock up a picture.
In
sit
pastels,
reception.
always in pastels. Yeah, and you have to have someone. You have to have a Met Police guy in a white shirt speaking as well. Do you know I met one of those once? I think I've told this story before on here, but I met a woman standing outside a law court doing one of those drawings, and I said, "Oh God, you're a court artist, brilliant! I've always been amazed by court artists and all that." And I said, "How come you're not inside doing it?" She said, "We're not allowed to draw in court." She said, "That's why there's so few of us. You have to have a photographic memory. So you have to sit in there, really stare at the person, and then go out and draw them."
But when they do famous people who we all know who they look like, and then they do the drawing, it makes you think, I don't think they're very good.
Right.
Yeah, but if you think they're doing it from memory,
Well, I mean, yeah, sure.
just take that back, is what I'm saying. Anyway, look,
It's very defensive over the court artists.
yeah, I think, you know what I mean? It's easy to sit there and condemn art in its various manifestations.
I didn't get a letter or a card when I moved in. But I'm in a basement. I've got a floor in the basement. I've got a
Stop
floor.
going so far from the mic.
Sorry, I don't want to over.
She's a director now. She's not used to
That's what she's
behind
wary of
broadcasting.
performance.
I'm in a basement room, so there isn't. So I'm underground. I'm in a subterranean hotel room.
You've been in there for 2 weeks with no windows.
There's a tiny ray of light that comes from a sort of.
a Madonna song.
There's like like basement windows when they. I guess it's sort of like a glass tiles in the pavement
Oh,
thing.
goodness me.
Would that bother you?
I wouldn't want to be subterranean for that long, I don't think.
2
Brilliant.
weeks. Yeah. Because sometimes they warn you about this when you check in. Did they mention it at the check-in?
No, but I've grown very tall and thin towards the light in a slightly bent way, like a science experiment.
And when they play music, do you dance a little bit like those plastic clothes? Oh, I know. I wouldn't want to be.
They didn't warn
underground.
me. They just said it was a quiet room.
I was staying in an inexpensive, just a standard
Card? Did you get a card?
hotel. No card.
No card, okay.
No figs. No chocolates. Nothing.
Oh wow!
And I mean, I was checking in on a Friday evening. It was a few weeks ago, and I was checking in at like 8 or 9 p.m. And I said, "Oh, I've got to leave early in the morning." She said, "I must warn you, this room has no window. It's in the basement." And I thought, I'm only going to be here at night. What?
Did she think you were going to wake up according to daylight?
Yeah. Maybe she thought this guy obviously wants some
He looks a
natural
bit
light spilling
medieval.
into his room.
Yeah.
But it's a weird thing that sometimes hotel owners or hotel staff seem to warn you if there is no window. And
I think
find
some
it,
people would be really freaked out.
They
There's
get
definitely
freaked
people
out.
with claustrophobia. You would be.
I mean, one of the ways that I made my way onto this show is by telling a story about how I once checked into a hotel room that didn't have a bed in it, but nobody warned me about that.
I
I see
remember.
that as a much more crucial part of a
remember.
hotel room.
Well, I imagine they get a lot of submariners stopping in that room before you. You're probably the first director. But see, as a director, you can call yourself an underground director. It makes you sound quite
That
groovy.
is good.
It'll be like being Louis Buñuel.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Alan Cochrane, and Holly Walsh
Morning.
is with
Morning.
us this morning. So,
I love having a sting.
oh, it's great,
Isn't
isn't it?
it?
Alan's got one as well. Alan's got a couple. He's got this one.
I actually thought there was going to be a cockerel one there.
No, I think there is a cockerel one somewhere.
I've
but
become Kung Fu fighting guy instead.
I can't.
That's fine.
I can't see it anywhere. I'll do one for you.
That's good.
It's not
That
bad.
sounded like a door opening
He does all
Yeah,
the
on a
voices.
cartoon.
It was a cockerel opening a door.
Yeah.
in an old castle.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Castle Cock. So that is a real place
Yeah, I
in
know.
Wales. So you can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website. Have we put a picture of my hotel card on Instagram?
Have we?
I think we have. I've gone crazy this morning. I've gone very social media. So, and now over to our football correspondent, Holly Walsh.
It's been a big week in football. As you could say, no,
You got a lip mic you can use for this bit.
what's a lip mic?
You know those ones that cover your mouth that they
yeah.
always hold in front of the door?
Well, obviously somebody got a big promotion. Mourinho got the Tottenham job. What do you think about it?
Well, it was a big deal in our house because I don't know if you're aware, but my 7-year-old son Buzz, he supports Tottenham, and he met Pochettino. First thing I thought was that Buzz's keyring is now obsolete. He's got a keyring picture of him with Poch.
Oh, has he?
And also he's got a Spurs programme in which Pochettino wrote on it very fabulously, to Boz, my best friend is you. Maurizio Pochettino, which I love.
But he did really help him out during his divorce.
Yeah. I also think with his drink thing, he just used to phone Boz sometimes at like 3 o'clock in the morning. He'd
He was
talk
like
him
his
through
mentor.
it. No, so he did. And obviously, I if anyone's nice to your child, as we all know, you then think they're great people.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
So I was a bit sad. And when I read I read around it, someone said, apparently he'd become, one of the journalists said, he'd become a very sulky presence at the training ground. I thought, Mourinho would never allow that.
Interesting change. Mourinho in the press conference reminded me of me for a moment. I don't know if you saw any of his press conference, but he said, I may not be smiling because we have a match in 2 days, but deep down I'm very happy. That's what he said. And I thought, I think that's the impression I give people, like that I'm unhappy, but actually it's just that I've got stuff to do in 2 days.
Yeah.
Like I've got a train to catch later, so I've not smiled that much this morning. I'm always a little bit preoccupied with the next thing.
No, it's a thing.
Does that make sense?
I mean, I've got used to it now. I used to just think you were surly. But I don't know. People say to me sometimes in the street, strangers will say, "Come on, cheer up, Frank."
Right.
You can't walk if you walk around smiling. People
Just
will
say
be
to them,
alarmed.
"I can't,
Yeah.
I've got a gig in 2 days. I'm thinking about it."
Yeah.
Well, I always think about saying sorry, but my uncle Dave's just perished in an automobile, just to put them on the spot and
Yeah.
to teach them a damn good lesson
Yeah.
about saying that.
People
But
need that lesson.
I think they do.
It'd be a civic duty you were doing
But
there.
the other thing you could do is, if you do feel like you need to look happier, just think about that handwritten Malmaison card that you got sent,
Yeah.
and then a smug look of superiority will pass your face.
See, I honestly thought everybody got a card. That's been my revelation. Every day is a school day. And I honestly thought everyone that went... I mean, maybe not in your basic hotels.
Are you like but everybody gets a car with a chauffeur to work.
What about... I once was playing football in Saint-Tropez with... and I was on the beach. They built a pitch on the beach, and I was supposed to play against the 94 Brazil World Cup winning team.
94 people on one team.
No,
That's quite
just,
a lot.
yeah, and one of them didn't turn up, so there's only 93. No, one of them
So
didn't
Robbie
turn up.
Williams did a double set.
So they chose me to play in. So I played for Brazil against a celebrity, and they kept trying to set me up to score, and I kept missing. It was really embarrassing. But at the end of it, they all got into a people carrier, and I got into a Rolls Royce. And they couldn't believe it. There was things like Kaka and, proper famous footballers. They were looking through the windows at me and I was waving out at them. I knew that wasn't the normal thing. Can I just say that?
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Whilst you're eating chocolate
I'm
or
not
whatever it
eating,
is,
I'm
you've
not
got a mouthful
eating.
You've got a
of-
giant kilogram of chocolate and you're
No,
ignoring the
I'm not
breaks.
eating. That isn't true.
I will just say this. I did only watch like 5 minutes of Jose Mourinho's press conference, but there was an interesting moment in it quite early on where he said, I can't really do this press conference without giving credit to Pochettino, and he said some nice things about him, and then he said, and we at the club and myself, well, any time that he wants to return, he can. If he's missing the players or the staff or the training ground, he can just come in. And I thought, well, that'd be pretty weird for him, though, wouldn't it? Because he's just been sacked by them.
Well, they say that
I think
when
it's unlikely to happen.
when Bill Shankly retired from Liverpool, apparently when the players got in for the next season, Bob Paisley had then become manager.
Uh-huh.
When they got in, Bill Shankly was there at the training ground. Just, and he'd just come in because he thought, well, I might as well just go in and out with the training. Really sort of awkward. Was Bill still here? Bill's still here.
I always think that about Fergie just hanging around Man U. I mean, I know he's on the
that
board
Fergie.
and stuff.
No, I know. Fergie's become like, when you're at, I was at Polytechnic, but Polytechnic University, and there's that guy who still goes to the student bar after he's left.
Yeah.
That's what Fergie's
Yeah.
like. I'm
Yeah.
not suggesting he's on the ball for 1 second.
No.
You've gone there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's because he's such a good luck charm, maybe. But no wonder everybody's
Not since
worried.
he's. No, well, I would just sell his seat. What if he turned up and they said, no, we've sold that seat, mate? Oh, dear. He'd go purple.
I'm going to miss Pochettino. I have a bit of a crush on him. He knows how to wear a scarf.
It's not that
He's
complicated, though, is
great.
it?
No, but he looks good in knitwear. He's
All right.
You don't think
he looks good in wool.
Mourinho's a good looking man?
I do think Mourinho's quite good looking, but he's
I think he's aging well.
he's very sort of he's gone grey quite quickly. Not that I have a problem with going grey, but
Thanks.
you haven't really gone grey.
It's an awkward moment in the studio.
You're not
cue up a
you're
song.
not as grey as Mourinho.
You know about
you're not.
the argument I had with my partner in
No.
in an apartment in Paris, when she said to me, "What colour was your hair originally?" I said, "Well, you can still see the original." She said, "No, I can just see grey." I said, "What are you talking about?" Bear in mind, this was about 10 years ago, so
Right.
it was less grey than it is now. I said, "You can see it, can't you?" And she said, "No, it's just grey." And I said, "It isn't. You can see." And this
Producer's got a head in her hands about this dialogue.
this wasn't an argument about me aging. It was an argument about, just perception. And I became slightly alarmed by the fact that she seemed to have lost touch with reality. Anyway, we sat and we agreed, over much discussion, we agreed at the wording of a text, which I then sent to 3 friends, which said, "What colour is my hair?" And we got replies from all 3, and they said, "Well, it's sort of mousy blonde with quite a bit of grey in it and stuff." I said, "There you are." Anyway, I got so alarmed. I said, "Look, I don't think we should sleep together tonight because I'm worried you're going to put a knife between my shoulder blades." And then she ended the relationship there and then. So it was a very difficult night based on exactly that.
Is this an ex-partner or your
No,
current partner?
this is my current partner. We made
So you
up.
dyed your hair and you're back together?
No,
Yeah,
we,
that's exactly what
You did
happened.
a Paul McCartney and just dyed your eyebrows and your hair and your
Does
beard.
Paul McCartney?
He doesn't anymore.
Breaking news
Okay.
on Absolute Radio.
Yeah, he went purple as well.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I was listening to some of these Jose Mourinho bits. The special one,
Yes.
that's what I call mine. And one of his things, this is his actual what he said to the players. He said, "I will be your father, friend, girlfriend, whatever you want."
Isn't that a George Michael lyric?
Is it?
I will be your father.
I hope he sang that, and then the "whatever you want" bit he did,
Whatever
played an
you
imaginary
want.
guitar. Whatever you want. What if this is the new light-hearted?
He was just doing a
Did a
pop
medley.
mashup.
But it's quite a big. I wonder if a player put his hand up and said, "Will you be our mother as well, boss?" No, your mother. I want to be your mother.
Right.
No, that's too much responsibility.
Yeah, too far.
But yes, I think he's changed his image, hasn't he?
Well, I think he's had to downgrade his arrogance.
Well, yes.
Yep.
He seems to, he's used the word humble. He's used the word mistakes.
Has he?
Yeah, I think this is Mourinho 0.02. Is that what they call it?
2.0.
2.0.
Surely
yeah.
it's Mourinho 0.2.
Very
right.
good. Can I ask? He also.
That's awful when you do a joke. Nobody laughs, but people go, "Oh yes, good one."
Yeah, it's better than
It's like,
people.
it's like family Christmases for me all over again.
Isn't it better than?
Good effort.
He also said that he will wear Spurs pyjamas in bed.
Did he?
He did, yeah. He's, you
Both
know,
top and bottom, did he get specific?
he didn't. I think he's not like me who just wears a pyjama jacket. He,
Well, you don't wear bottoms.
No, I don't wear. I
You
don't
just
wear.
wear a top.
And interestingly,
Yeah.
I just wear the bottoms. And so Frank and I could go halves
Half
on
and
a
half.
pair of pyjamas.
Yeah,
if
me
we
and
were
Al are
similar
like Jack
height.
Spratt and his spouse.
I don't think Mourinho wears merch in bed. I think he wears David Gandy for M&S. I
You
think he wears.
think?
Yeah.
I wear David Gandy for M&S. David Gandy sent me a shipload of free pants and stuff.
What,
and I-
personally? He
Yeah,
said,
yeah,
he
well,
said,
there was-
I
yeah.
can't fit these
Again,
anymore, but
it's like-
you're the same physique as me, so
there was
here
a
you go.
handwritten card from David. Doesn't everyone? Doesn't everyone get them?
This is what he's like.
You know when you go to M&S and David Gandy meets you and shows you his collection, and
Well, someone said to me, they've sent you some of Gandhi's underwear. I thought, surely that should be in a museum somewhere in Mumbai.
they're probably selling it next to John Sim's suit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John Slim, as the man called him, and he said when after he tried the trousers on.
Oh.
Poor
He did a lot
Poor-
of body size humour in this letter.
I think, well, you think he wasn't telling the truth about the pyjamas?
I don't think he's sleeping in merch.
I bet Tony Pulis sleeps in the pyjamas of whatever. Tony Pulis wears more. He's like club shop sweep. He does.
I reckon
If Dale
he's-
Winton, God bless him, was still alive, he would have took Tony Pulis around the shop with a trolley.
I reckon he still wears like Crystal Palace ones from a few years ago because they're perfectly good condition.
Yeah, but he's always loaded with club shop. I always said that what I'd love to see is the Tony Pulis family night fishing. And you'd see more club shop managers' coats, scarves. Oh, man, it's all there. Whereas he's not really so much of a merch man, Mourinho. He's often the nice suit and stuff.
Yeah.
But you know, the classier the club, the less the merch looks like merch.
Oh.
You know, it looks
think
like a
it's
really
discreet
nice
merch.
jacket, and then you look closely and it's got like a Liverpool.
Yeah, see, I
insignia
like
and stuff.
the Tottenham sort of those purple tracksuits with a slightly different. The black chicken looks a bit different on it.
Oh, okay.
So my son calls the Tottenham badge the black chicken. So we've sort of it
Sounds like a
it sounds like an evil
euphemism
group.
for depression.
Yeah.
I had a visit from the black chicken. when Tottenham lose, the black chicken.
No, well, I think he's been around too much this season, eh? Oh, okay. Can you do that again, Steve? Live.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
Mourinho has taken a slightly firmer line in some of his man management. I read in the on the back of a paper today. Apparently, he went up to Dele Alli and said, "Are you Dele Alli or are you his brother?" And Dele Alli said, "I am Dele Alli." And Mourinho said, "We'll play like him then."
That's what.
That's a bit of dialogue that was in the newspaper.
That sounds like something that's gone through Google Translate.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Also, I don't think he calls himself Deli Ali anymore. I think he calls himself Deli.
Oh, well, he's made a terrible faux pas in his new role then. He should speak to HR and find out what the actual names are of people.
His full
kept
name is
phone-
Delicatessen.
Yeah. Well, he kept getting calls asking for sun-dried tomato, so he changed it.
You know, like they have Chip Shop Alley in Cardiff or whatever it's
Chip
called.
Alley, yeah.
Chip Alley, yeah. Deli Alley.
Well, I think he.
It's the posh version.
I mean, I think the truth is there's some. I think there's some. He didn't fell out with his dad or something like that, so he decided. And Deli, who else is it going to be? You don't need,
Yeah.
It's true.
It's like Elvis or something. Anyway, that you see, that is more like the old Mourinho to start like that. By the way, will he wear the club pyjamas or the club pyjamas? Because I am really confused that people call him Jose instead of Jose. Is that a Portuguese-Spain difference?
Yes, I think it is.
So he should be Jose Mourinho, that's correct.
I believe so.
Not Jose
I mean,
Mourinho.
I'm not fluent in Portuguese.
You're not?
Except for the odd jiu-jitsu terminology.
Well, I should have phoned my friends in the 1994 Brazil World Cup.
Yeah, exactly. You'd have been ahead.
So,
But where do you get the Mourinho from? Because isn't it just like Marino?
Yeah.
Why do we say Mourinho?
I bet
I like the fact I'm saying it
Mourinho
with
looks good
authority.
in knitwear.
Yeah, very good.
Can I?
I like that.
I like the fact we've
I
moved.
actually don't get that either.
Merino wool. It's a,
Oh, right.
it's a lamb,
Come
lamb wool, I
on.
think.
When you got a Merino wool, didn't Mr. Merino hand write you a note saying, enjoy the jumper? Everyone gets that, right? The sheep came to thank you for wearing them.
I went to Tottenham Arsenal on Sunday in the Women's Super League, and it was great.
Was it?
It was a fabulous day out. 38,000 people at White Hart Lane.
Wow.
Did you go, Holly? No.
Why? Why should I? Just because I'm a woman?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean to say every women's event I have to turn up to.
Well, it might be a bit
Yeah, that
better
would
than
be
we
too
talk
much.
about football and you just talk about fancying Maurizio Pochettino. Come on, times have changed.
I made a great joke about Pulis's past clubs, so back up.
Did you? I don't
Yeah.
remember.
You said he wears all the merch, and I said he was probably wearing merch from previous clubs that he played at. And I named a club that he'd managed.
Look, I'm not suggesting. I know you have the football credentials.
I know, but you just patronised me there.
Yeah. What's your problem with that?
Little lady.
I know. Anyway, it's been great having you on the show.
I'll see you in 4 years.
Well, don't count on that. Stay underground, that's my advice. Yeah, and it was brilliant. And I'll tell you something, that we went in hospitality, obviously, and they had face painting.
Nice.
They had...
It's called makeup.
yeah.
That's what ladies do.
you call it that. Well, let's just call it... I believe in calling a spade a spade. It's face paint. No, so Boz had the black chicken on his cheek.
Cool.
And then they had free... They made personalised T-shirts. You had a little video which they then sent. I mean, it had everything. And I never felt like I was going to get glassed at any stage, which
That
I always
sounds
get.
good.
I always get at least some stage in a men's football game. It was a beautiful day and a good game. So what about that?
Great review. Put it on the posters.
Beautiful day.
Yeah, so
Great game.
I'm thinking I might start. I tell you what, I didn't feel so bad about cheering for Tottenham's women's team as I do for the men's team. They didn't feel like a direct rival to the West Bromwich Albion men's team. So there was so many pluses.
Probably similar standard as well.
Well, I know
Actually, that was really disrespectful to the Tottenham's women's team.
yeah, I think patronising was
Yeah.
the original word.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
By the way, I was sent a book called The Christmas Present. So thanks for that, by Alexander McCabe.
Oh, yeah.
It started now, hasn't it? Little the Christmas presents for kids and all.
Well, would briefly discuss. That's really scratchy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sorry, I find it quite exciting. I haven't had my first Christmas lunch yet. Can you believe it?
You haven't.
No, I usually have my first before the end of November.
Apparently, Richard E. Grant eats Christmas pudding all year round.
Where's he getting them? Because I
He
eat
bulk
them.
buys them at the during the Christmas period. They don't go off, and he eats them all year round.
That's funny you should mention that, because I've been buying them every time I've done a supermarket shop for about, 2 months. So I've probably had, maybe 4 or 5 microwaved supermarket Christmas puddings already.
Do you love
and
them that much?
I really like them, but also it's one of the few bits...
I think he's just hoping there'll be coins in them.
I wish. It's one of the few bits of food reheating that I get worried about. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, you can't have leftovers. And there's something about Christmas pudding that makes me worry about microwaving it twice.
Oh, no, I warm it up a dozen times.
Oh,
Yeah.
do you?
Yeah.
And it's fine?
Well, I don't want anyone listening and then coming back and saying I've got salmonella from a Christmas
No,
pudding.
it's not advice. But
No.
I've ended up with a really weird habit where I'll eat... I'll buy one of the Christmas puddings that's for 4. Nobody else in the family really likes it, so I basically...
Oh, really?
eat
So you're
most of it.
basically buying yourselves Christmas puddings every time you go out?
Yeah, and I sometimes give my wife like a token amount and she won't really enjoy it, but I'll have the so I'll have like a Christmas pudding portion for like 2 people, and then the next day I'll go back and I'll think, I don't want to microwave it again. So I've started to do it in the wok the day after.
Joking.
Yeah, in what I think is real fusion cooking. I
With
don't know if...
noodles and bean sprouts.
Yes, that's exactly it. Bit of hoisin. No, I've been doing it in the wok, just reheating the,
It's not
the actual pudding.
It's not happy mid stir.
But I think if you've got issues with reheating it in the microwave, reheating it in the wok is the same principle. It's the it's the reheation.
I don't know why it would.
Oh.
I don't know why it would have got like that. It's a strange, because I'm one of those people that eats food. Like I had pate that was 2 weeks out of date not that long ago.
Ooh.
I'll eat a 4-month-old prawn, sure.
Good
Yeah.
for you. Yeah.
I'll eat a prawn for someone's room
I
service.
think-
All of it.
I think because I'm on tour, I've got more careful about that. 'Cause
Oh,
I always
right.
think, there's something about don't eat shellfish on a shooting day.
Is that what they say?
That's what Prince Andrew told me.
It's just a normal shooting weekend.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm. Oh, by the way, speaking of, it's Doctor Who's birthday today. So that's
Is it?
what a lovely day to get John Sims' suit. It's perfect.
Which Doctor Who's birthday?
No, the series.
the actual Doctor.
The series began.
Oh, I see, the series.
So it's 56 today.
Happy birthday,
Come
Doctor
on.
Happy birthday, as you say.
I don't say that.
Who. You do that.
Happy
You say birthday.
Happy birthday.
Well, I don't think I do.
I'd love
say
to. I think you should be. You know when people do impressions of Marilyn Monroe singing "Happy Birthday, Mr. President."
Yeah.
I think you should be the new upgrade on that.
Okay.
I like the idea of you singing JFK "Happy Birthday."
Well, maybe I can sing it to the president of the geological council.
Archaeological.
The
Oh,
archaeological council. Yes.
You can sing it to the president of the Geological Council, but he won't
No,
know
you'll
what-
say, who is this? Not even a member. Get out! Sorry, I got the wrong council. I've only just joined. Give me a chance. Anyway, stop having a dig at me about being in the archaeological.
Very good.
Christmas. Christmas. Look, we've done it. So thank you so much, Holly,
I've had such a lovely
for
time.
coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
It's always a joy to see you, and also what a lovely lunch we had at Holly's, me and Kath, a couple of weeks ago.
Did you?
Yeah, it was.
Nice.
It was smashing. There was like a pastry thing. Anyway,
Did you get the bus after?
well, of course, we wouldn't have missed the bus. I did drive
Okay.
there. Hour and a half I drove. And can I just say that there and back? That's the kind of friend I am.
Yeah, but I live an hour and a half away from you, so
I
that's
know.
normal.
Yeah, but we could have met halfway. That was my thought. Anyway,
Definitely do this on air.
what colour's my hair again? Anyway, thanks.
Great.
It's lovely to see you as ever, Holly, and we'll look out for, what's the sitcom?
The other one.
The other one, exactly. The special one and the other one. That's what we've covered today. So thank you for listening. If the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now get out.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.